Hi, everybody. I've got Claire here, and she's a psychologist as a profession, and she's a Christian woman. She has been through a divorce herself and is on the other side of that. And she's sharing her story actually to try and help other women to make good choices as they follow God for their future. And she's just gained a lot of wisdom through ministering to people, through friendships, through church, through her practice, and I think she's got a lot of wisdom to share. And so, what she's going to share with us today is sort of some red flags. Don't proceed if you find yourself in a relationship like this, because they are warning signs that could save you a life of heartache. And we really hope that you'll take note of them. It's not a comprehensive list, but these are the ones we're going to deal with today. So over to you, Claire.
Thank you. Thanks, Ange. So, the list that I'm talking about today deals largely around patterns of behavior. So, we all have times where we're impatient or we're having a bad day and we don't do life perfectly. I'm not talking about those moments, I'm talking about repetitive patterns of behavior. What I find extremely important is the way a man treats you. A man needs to treat you kindly. He should want to treat you kindly. So to watch out for the way a man, to be very in tune with the way that a man treats you and the way that he treats others. How does he treat the car guard? How does he treat his friends? How does he speak to your parents or his parents? Just listening to the way that he speaks to others. So kindness is key. And when there's a pattern of unkind behavior or unkind words, that is a massive red flag. Another red flag is not taking responsibility for their actions. Often this looks like blaming you when something went wrong, but not being able to say, I'm sorry, or not being able to say, that was my fault, or I
Yes.
take that on and I'm sorry for that.
So they cannot acknowledge what they do wrong whatsoever.
No.
It's always somebody else
No.
or an excuse or
Yes.
situation. Okay.
An example of that as well is calling them out on something and their default goes to anger. So they actually get angry at you even saying, why are you calling me out? Why are you bringing this up? How dare you? How dare you? Linked to that is invalidating your experiences and feelings. So if you're bringing something to them, if you're bringing a feeling to them or an experience that made you feel a certain way, for them to actually invalidate it, such as, you didn't really see it like that, or you're just being overly sensitive. That's a very common one. You're just being overly sensitive, or is that really how it went? Leaving you with a question in your mind about, oh, was
Am
that?
I seeing this correctly,
Am I
or do
seeing
I
this
remember that correctly?
Yes. And that's repeating repetitive patterns of invalidating behavior.
Okay.
Belittling others and belittling you is a massive, massive red flag. That looks like name calling, often in the form of jokes. So, for example, repetitive, instead of going like, hi, my love, like seeing you and going, hi, lazy, or hi, whatever word might be attached to that. There are often belittling comments in the form of humor that come. Or things like, you're just so sensitive. Belittling your friends or your family, making comments that belittle your friends and family, and again, repetitive comments of belittling.
So not just a one-off where they're
No.
frustrated or irritated,
No.
but this kind of the degrading of what's
It's a
precious
degrading.
to you,
Mm.
and making sure you know that he's looking down on them or something like that.
Yes. And there's a difference between speaking truth when issues arise and being able to say to one another, these are things that I'm noticing in the family system,
Right.
for example, or I'm not comfortable with this. That's a healthy thing.
Yes.
But I'm talking about actually belittling the people.
Right.
Consistently,
Okay.
belittling the people in your life. Another massive red flag is trying to isolate you from your friends and your family. And this isn't done in a way where it's necessarily an obvious isolation initially, but it could be things like declining just about every event, to dinner functions, or to your friends, invites that you might get from friends or invites from family, saying, no, let's rather just stay at home. Let's rather just have dinner together. And not once off, but consistently, where there's a pattern of him not wanting you to be around family or friends, or preventing you from actually going out and having
So is this a little different, for example, like for an introvert who just doesn't like being around people, where he's fine to go to his choice, but it's not yours. So it's isolating you. Is
It's
that right?
isolating you.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's not just a
Yes.
social thing.
No.
It's actually that person doesn't want you to have your own people around. It's restricting you,
Yes.
which is a control issue.
Yes. And
Okay.
you are expressing desire to see these people. And
Okay.
there's a restriction in that. So there's a clear difference between there being a social issue and someone that just wants to stay at home, has more introversion tendencies versus a controlling
Right.
who you're seeing.
Okay.
Another red flag is limiting your choices or attempting to limit your choices and your behavior. Again, that fits into the control aspect. So making you feel like you don't have choice and you don't have freedom in a relationship to make decisions. That could be limiting choices in terms of who you see, could be limiting choices in terms of the way that you spend your finances. And again, there's health in having conversations about how to spend finances together in marriage. So I'm not talking about that kind of thing,
Yeah.
but I'm talking about the control element in that. These control things do start showing up quite early on in patterns. So that's why they may seem small in the beginning, but if there are continuous patterns of behavior, watch out for them, because they could be signs that you're entering into a relationship that is not best for you and at worst could be very detrimental to your health.
And guys, this is something that I wish I had learned when I was a lot younger, because I think it can save a lot of girls or a lot of people. I mean, this goes both ways. This is not restricted just to men. A woman can be equally as dangerous in this way, but where you're with somebody that is going to end up destroying who you are. Because when people get to that level of control, their goal is that you become nothing so that they can be everything, and it is destructive. You cannot live a flourishing life under those circumstances. And if you can see it before you get married, you can get out. And these are kind of things that you need to get out, and you need to get out fast before you link yourself to that and can never get out. So we hope that this has been useful to some of you, and that you'll be able to act on it. And if you're not sure what to do, phone a friend, phone a pastor, get the help that you need, because you don't want to end up in a situation where this is the rest of your life. We hope that was helpful for you. Bye for now.